Hey guys, your humble host. So real quick, I wanted to make a small video. I voted today for the very first time. I have never participated in any type of vote or election before. And I made this my very first one. And for those of you who are wondering which presidential candidate I did vote for, yes, I did vote for Trump. I will never vote for Hillary. I think she needs to be jail-bound. And I really, really hope she does not get the White House. Anyway, I wanted to talk about my lack of enthusiasm experience at the poll. Now, I know in the past there has been debate and arguments among our lawmakers and such about requiring IDs to vote. You need your ID to register to vote, but not every single state requires an ID to be presented in order to actually cast a ballot. Such is the case in my state where I voted. It was a small office, a small little chamber of sorts, and I went in, and this particular ballot I went to was old-fashioned, where you went in, they had the physical paper with all the candidates listed. You had the presidential, you had the Senate, you had the circuit judge. Didn't mess with any of that. I don't know anything about those people. But anyway, yeah, so it's old-fashioned. So I go in, they had me sign like this little slip, put in my name and address so they can look up my information. I'm making sure I was actually registered. I had to wait a few minutes because there was issues with the printers lagging and not being responsive to the computers. Seeing how there was voter flipping in Texas, and I believe their ballots are electronic and not paper, I went in a little bit worried because I read this right before voting about what happened in Texas, where people's Republican votes for Donald Trump were getting flipped to Hillary right before they hit the submit button, and they had to get someone to help them put them back to Donald Trump votes. Just shows you how desperate Hillary Clinton really is to get in the White House. Anyway, so I asked the woman if there was any issues with voter flipping. She told me no. Now, seeing how these are paper, I'm not sure how you can flip these. As you guys remember those bubble tests that you used to take in high school, and then they had like that machine where you stuck your bubble test through and it picked up all of the filled in answers? So it had one of those machines where it just sucked up the ballot and read the thing off. So I'm not sure if there's a way to make those flip the votes. I highly doubt it. Hopefully not. Anyway, though, back to my story. So after I filled out this little slip of paper or whatnot, and then finding my information, seeing that I was registered, they handed me a ballot after a few minutes. I inquired, hey, are you guys going to require my ID? Do you guys want to see my driver's license? No, we don't need it. And I gave this lady a look because it's like I could come in here with anyone's information. As long as it's registered, it doesn't matter. I could come in here with anyone's information and register underneath that name. So I don't know if it's because it's an old-fashioned ballot that they didn't have me present my ID, and the ID presentations are strictly for the electronic ballots. I don't know. This is my first time voting, or this was. So, but still kind of worried me. Sorry. So, I don't know if every state requires an ID. I know that where I live, the town where I live, it didn't. So, considering this is a small town, though, where I'm at, I don't know if people could get away with trying to pose as other people, because around here, everybody pretty much knows everybody or knows a friend of that somebody, so I don't know if it's that easy to do so down here, but I can't imagine people not trying it, though what's been happening in the news with the rallies and all that wonderful stuff, it hasn't happened down here. It's been really quiet, which I am thankful for. Anyway, for those of you who have voted, what was your experience? I've heard people getting harassed at the polls. Like I said, there was the voter flipping. Did you guys have to put up a lot of stuff just to cast a vote? Did you have other people that were on that ballot as well? And also, here's something else, because I heard someone else ask this question, and it get answered before I saw the ballot. Before they gave me the paper, the ballot, which was like this long, this wide, and then it was 2 pages, not back and front, just 2 one-sided papers. Did you guys, with your guys' polls, did you guys have all the Democrats together and all the Republicans together? Because from what I understand of this guy's question, even though she told him yes, it still doesn't make sense to the ballot. What this guy asks is if he can vote some Republican, some Democratic, if he wanted. If that was his decision, if some of the people he wanted to vote for was Republican, and some of the people he wanted to vote for was Democratic. Now, or if he wasn't allowed to. And she told him yes, that he was not allowed to vote for multiple parties. However, when it comes to the poll I had, like I said, it had the presidential where it had Hillary, Trump, Gary, and Jill, and then it had the Senate, court, and all that wonderful stuff. So, and it had them listed as to what they were. So were you guys made to vote all one party, or were you guys allowed to vote multiple parties? Say if you wanted to vote for a Republican judge, a Democratic president, and then a liberal Senate representative. So, like I said, the only person I really voted for was Donald Trump. I didn't know about the other people in my area, and then there was a small amendment to the state's constitution that wanted to be added, so I did vote on that. But anyway, so that was my voter experience, and it wasn't really much of one. I wasn't sure what I was looking for. I wasn't sure exactly what I was doing. It just kind of worried me a little bit that they didn't ask for my ID. As long as the information was registered, I could have gone in there with anybody's info. Anybody's. It wouldn't have mattered. And I don't know if they've already had people vote under false information or vote for their people. So, and there was only 2 ladies in there. Granted, I went into the office of a third lady, saw her first before going into the small little chambers hall to vote, so I don't know if they're there every day. I don't know. So, what's your guys' take on it? How has your voter experience been? Are you guys voting at all? Who are you guys voting for? You guys don't have to say it if you don't want to. I know that there's been a lot of backlash. But yeah, like I said, what time is it? I did vote for Trump. I do believe that America has a second chance with him, considering if anyone's been reading and following the news, Hillary has already declared war on Russia if she gets into office. She wants to take out Putin. Now, if anyone's been following the news with Russia, China, and even the Philippines, all 3 of them have come together. Now, granted, with the Philippines, a side note, they don't want to cut off from the U.S. completely. They just want to separate foreign policy. However, still, this is a problem that all 3 of these guys are coming together. Russia is already superpower and has the most nukes right now. And what is happening, they are now aligned with China as we got kicked out. Our warships and things like that have been kicked out of the Chinese Strait, or those China waters, and Russian warships have been ushered in and are now being positioned in there. And I remember reading this too, that if we are to go after Russia, that Putin has already promised to bomb NATO. And I believe that is the National Organization Alliance Treaty. I don't remember the abbreviation all the way. But yeah, so I particularly don't want to go to war. We don't have the resources for it. We have enough gone in our country to where we do not need to worry about stepping on the toes of a growing power and dealing with an alliance right now. We don't need that. We got enough crap to deal with as it is. So yeah, I voted for Trump, and if that dude gets in the White House, I really hope he can cut the tensions here. Now granted, throughout this entire presidential election, at first I didn't follow it, and because it was nothing more than a clown fest. I saw articles and there was like stuff everywhere when Ted Cruz was still in it, Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, Bernie Sanders, and Carly Fiona, I don't quite remember her last name. But so I followed it a little bit there, but I didn't really dig into it. And when the candidates started to drop off, like Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, Bernie Sanders, who's a sellout. Anyway, but as I excuse me, saw and heard that these guys were like falling out, putting an end to their campaign because they no longer had any money, or they were just too far behind in the polls, what have you. That's when I really started to follow it, and at first it was just really, really annoying because it seemed to be just one big clown fest. They kept hurling insults at each other. Oh, Trump said this on Twitter. Oh, Hillary said this on Twitter. Da 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 da. And I know what's circling right now in the news in regards to like with Trump is comments he made about a particular woman that signed a contract with him, one of his former pageant winners, and from what I understand, she let her image go. And with Trump's pageant show, with that sort of thing, the contract entailed, from what I understand, is that she signed it after winning, and saying that she will represent that particular company, that thing, for quite a few years. Well, she let herself go, so therefore Trump's remarks, being a businessman, is going, well, she's fat now, she looks like a pig, and she's in contract with representing her company. So that is what I understand of that situation. And the freaking recording from 2005, what conversation, or when doesn't that conversation happen between guys? I have hung around enough guys to know they've bragged about either seeing extra on a woman or what have you, and it's just, it's a normal conversation. It really is, and I'm not down on you guys, no. It just, let's be realistic. What dude hasn't had that conversation at some point in his life with other guys? We girls have that conversation about guys, so I really don't see what the big deal is. And personally, I don't give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, is that it was a sad attempt by Hillary to dredge up old stuff to try to dismay other people from voting for him, try to put a black spot on his campaign. And I'm not saying he's 100% innocent. No, I'm not saying that at all, because he had quite a mouth when he started his presidency, and he has toned it down just a bit, and he has formed his policies better, and he has written out what he's going to do the first 100 days during his day in the White House. So, or the first 100 days of his presidency. There you go, if he is to win the White House. So the way that I look at it, and this is something I learned from my dad, is that things happen in the past. And if that person has changed and is no longer doing those things, then what they did in the past really does not matter, because they're changed. They're now not repeating those things. They are expressing different behavior. So with Trump, and I don't know the guy personally, but I will say that as far as I can tell, he's not repeating that behavior. And what was dug up was stuff that was done and said in private between him and another man. No big deal, I don't give a shit. Multiple guys do it. I've hung around a lot of guys, and I've heard a lot of conversations like that. So I'm not bothered by it too much. It's not going to sway, it didn't sway my vote either way. I still voted for the guy. In regards to Hillary, she has done a lot of crap in the past, and she is still doing that same garbage. Nothing has changed. If anything, her behavior has gotten worse. From her defending her husband, who is a rapist, calling his victim tramps, trying to demean what happened to his victims, to the Big Gezi, to buying out the media, to intimidation, to threatening death, or suggesting a drone attack on Julian Assange. There's an entire shit list this woman has, and it has not stopped growing. And the fact that she wants to put us at war with a superpower that is growing with allies, just no. No, that woman is a massive, massive control freak and a murderer. And what she stands for is utter and complete garbage. She is someone I'd rather see in a freaking jacket chained to a damn wall in jail cell, to tell you the truth. I care nothing for her policies. I don't care what she says she's trying to. It's all lies. And I really hope a lot of people wake up to that. I'm not telling people who to vote for. You guys have to make your own decision based on what you feel is right, your own experiences. Just from what I've been following, hearing, seeing of both Trump and Hillary, Trump is the better answer. Now, granted, would I rather have someone who is a little bit more wise, a little bit less mouthy, and doesn't have skeletons in their closet? Yes. If anything, I did want another candidate, someone that would take care of the people, was smart about what we allowed in our country. Yes, I did. I honestly wanted their candidate, and suffice to say, there was someone else I was considering voting for. His name is Evan McMullin. He is someone out of Utah. And from what I understand, Utah is the big swing state. Now, going back to that ballot I had, there was a fifth option, and that fifth option was a write-in. And I read a little bit about Evan McMullin. He's a former CIA agent, and he's a conservative. Excuse me, and I agreed with a lot of the views that he had. However, there was one thing that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and some of you are just gonna lose your shit at it, but I don't care. His main goal, what he wanted to do with the electoral vote, was he wanted to put it in a dead gridlock between him, Trump, and Clinton. And what that does when the electoral vote is in a dead gridlock like that, where they are tied across the board, the decision goes to the House. Now, from what I read and from what I saw, the House can't stand Donald or Hillary. Just can't stand him, and doesn't give a shit about the other two independent parties, which are just, no. As how they've made it on the ballot, I'm quite surprised. I didn't expect to find them on the ballot in the first place. Anyway, though, he wanted to put the electoral vote into gridlock, thrown into the House, and expecting the House to put him in the White House. So it was an interesting plan. I don't know if it's still going to work out. I really, really don't. But that wasn't his main objective. If you read further, his main objective was stopping Donald Trump from getting in the White House. And my biggest problem with that is that you'd rather have, shall we say, a serial killer, a liar, an intimidator, a cheat, a briber, a manipulator, a warmonger, and the White House versus a businessman versus someone who actually knows how to handle himself. Now, granted, yes, I did see the last two debates. Unfortunately, it was only the second half of each. The second one I came into and watched it, I'm like, oh, okay, these debates. And then the third one, I forgot about what time it started, so I was really pissed off. And then I guess there was some really good stuff in the first half. But so I have watched enough of the debates, and yes, during the debates, it really was a lot of turd flinging and Trump pulling up dirt on Hillary and Hillary attempting to pull up dirt or create dirt I do know that the moderators in the second one were just freaking terrible and kept trying to overtalk Donald, and Donald was having none of it, which I thought was awesome. The third one was, I want to say, a bit more calm, and Donald just kept bringing a lot of stuff that nobody was willing to talk about, like the email scandal of Hillary, which, just suffice to say, I'm actually quite surprised that she wasn't put in jail. Now, I do remember reading, because when she was going to trial for the email scandal, I do remember reading the FBI wanted to nab Hillary before July 25th, wanted to have her behind bars on the July 25th. This was something that they were passionate about. Then all of a sudden, Bill has a private meeting with Lorena Lynch, and all of a sudden, they want nothing to do with it. They don't find any criminal activity. And it's just like, that's a bunch of bullshit. There's something going on here, and it stinks. So, anyway, if that doesn't tell you something about this woman, then I don't know what else will. Anyway, that is my little spiel about the presidential campaign and my voter experience. Like I said, what is your guys's? Who did you vote for? There's going to be no judgment here. I don't mind debates, but if this breaks out into a shitstorm, no. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and we will know who our new president is. And I want to say about, let's see, today is the 25th, sorry, I'm trying to think, about 14 days? 2 weeks? Yeah, no, 2 weeks, because the 8th of November is a Tuesday, and today is Tuesday. So, I don't know, I can't remember with the last presidential campaign, I don't remember if they announced them on the same day or they announced them on the day before. No, it was on the same day because they announced them at like 11 o'clock at night. I remember that. Anyway, well, 11 o'clock my time. At night. Anyway, you guys have a good night. Good luck. Be safe out there. It's pretty nuts out there right now with the presidency. And if you haven't voted yet and you still need to vote and it's crazy in your town, don't announce who you're going to vote for. Just don't. Just be better safe than sorry. Go in, do your business. And yeah, take care of what you need to. Anyway, have a good night, guys.